You know that it had its FPO being launched. It's closed now. They've allocated shares as well. But what's actually working for this particular counter today? If you look at the stock price, it has actually recovered over 9% from yesterday's low itself. And my colleague Vinny is here to take us through all the details and what's exactly happening in Ruchi Soya and why is it on our radar and it's a part of BNS and Lens. Vinny?
Absolutely, and Ruchi Soya, if you look at it, like you mentioned, 9% recovery from yesterday. Today itself, it's up 4% ahead of its listing that we'll be seeing coming in tomorrow. Today, all the shares are going to be credited to the investors' accounts who have finally received the allotment. So surely that's very interesting. And look at the volume surge and the spurt we saw coming in yesterday. It was almost 7.8 times that of the volumes of the last 5-day average. A sharp spurt in the volumes as well. And we had seen the stock a bit under pressure, for the last couple of days as well. Finally, some bit of a recovery coming in over there. And just to take you all through a flashback of the details, the board has approved an allotment of 6.61 crore shares aggregating to 4,300 crores, which will account to almost a dilution of equity of around 22%. Tomorrow is going to be the listing of this FPO, 8th April, so keeping an eye out on that one. As of now, just ahead of the listing, we are seeing that the stock is finally seeing and trading in the green today.
Absolutely, Vinny. Thank you for taking us through all the details. And yes, the FPO shares will be listed on the bourses tomorrow. But let's get on board our experts today. We have Gaurav Ratnaparkhi joining us on the show for the first time. And we have Sharmila Joshi who is joining us as well. Good morning, Sharmila, and good morning to you as well. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us on Buy Now, Sell Now. And starting first with you, Sharmila. What's your take on Ruchi Soya? Do you think that this actually changes the entire prospect for the stock fundamentally? If one wants to look at it and one who's been allocated shares also, how does the things change for them from here on?
Well, I think first of all, you need to really see the background that we had on Ruchi Soya. You had a FPO, and then there was so SEBI stepped in because they felt that there was some unsolicited advertisement which was done by the company, which they took sort of exception to. And also, if you were to even broaden the net further, then you would see that perhaps SEBI has also gotten more vigilant because there have been some recent IPOs which are, in the correction, they fell as much as 70%. I'm talking of Paytm, of course. So at that time, there were a lot of retail investors who suffered, and they didn't want a repeat of that for retail investors, and which is why they stepped in and they allowed for subscriptions to actually be withdrawn, and that is unprecedented. So you've had the stock correcting since then. So to cut a long point short, I think that what one must learn from this is that it's best to just wait a little bit, let the stock get listed, let it trade for a bit, and I think even if the valuations are fair, which I don't think they are, I think they are a little stretched. Then give the stock a little time to settle, and for those who are making money to book some profits, and then you can revisit the stock and see if it's at a level that you want to get in at. But at the moment, really, my advice would be to stay away if you haven't already either applied or invested in the stock.
Let's go across to our technical expert as well. What's the view here? How does this look on the charts, and what should the average investor pay attention to? Maybe also the guys who are starting trading right now. What should they bear in mind?
Yeah, so Ruchi Soya, basically, if you look at the big picture, then the stock topped out in June 2020. And since then, it has been trading in a range-bound manner. Of course, the range has been quite broad. And in terms of price pattern, it has been forming a multi-month triangular pattern, which means that the range is getting narrower over the period. And if you look at the recent structure, that is for last month or so, the range has been 700 on the downside and 1100 on the upside. And yesterday itself, the stock has taken support near lower end of that range. And over there, it has formed a bullish belt hold candle on the daily chart. And this bullish formation has taken place at the Delhi lower Bollinger Band, which further increases its bullish significance. Even if you look at the volume, then we can see that the bullish pattern has been formed on the backdrop of huge volumes, which means that accumulation is taking place in this counter and the stock is preparing for a large up move. So from medium term perspective, the outlook is positive as long as the stock trades above the level of 700. it can climb to towards the level of 1100 on the upside. And from trading perspective, for traders, short-term traders, the recommendation will be to buy at current level with stop loss placed below 750 or 740. And on the higher side, the initial target will be 850 and the subsequent target will be 900. So bullish outlook from short-term as well as medium-term perspective.
Right, so that's the view coming in on the technical front on Ruchi Soya.